What is going on, y'all? This is the Caveman. I'm here with Football with Oz Austin for episode 85 of Against the Blitz, and it is time for the postseason. We were just saying before we started recording, this is the most excited that we've been for a week of football in quite some time. I know we get to like the June, July time of year, and we're like, we would do anything for a shitty Thursday night game. Well, right now, I'm the opposite of that. I want a good football game. I can't stand watching the dog shit that's been on the televisions for the past couple of weeks. So I'm very thrilled that we, for the first time, actually going to a wild card weekend where I don't see a single matchup on this slate that is like 2 versus 7 seed, one is getting killed type of thing, which usually has been the case. But this year we have a very plentiful, competitive amount of matchups here.
Yeah. So we started this about a year ago, and we started like directly at this time. And I remember doing some research on the teams, and I was like, wow, half of these are going to be blowout playoff games. Even if they weren't, like, that's just how it felt. But yeah, like you said, this time I struggled with really all but like 1 or 2 of these games. Like, I would not be shocked if every single prediction I have is wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I would not be shocked if mine were wrong either. I mean, I did all of this research for the college football playoff, the first round of it. And I think other than the 2 blowouts, I got the only 2 competitive games wrong. It's like you sit down and you're like really trying to think about it. And it doesn't matter because you can't predict this shit. But it also, to some extent, is the time of year where you're going to get the, as you said, purest version of these teams. They're going to be throwing the kitchen sink and they're going to be leaning into their strengths. So this is where it also feels like you're getting the best version of everybody. And we're going to do our best to tell you what the script looks like, really, for the first round. So
we will.
We're going to go through every single matchup, give you a quick breakdown, our thoughts on it, and then we'll give you either a bold prediction or a best bet for each game. Starting with Saturday, Carolina, Los Angeles. This, out of all of them, has the biggest potential to be a real blowout, but both of these teams met earlier in the year, and Carolina pulled off an upset 31-28. What do you think happens in Week 19?
Well, I looked at that. Like, I wanted to go along with the whole like 10.5 point line that's given in the Rams' favor in this game, but I got a little scared because, of the Panthers winning last time. But I went back and I looked, and it was an uncharacteristic game from both. It was an uncharacteristically great game from Bryce Young and an uncharacteristically bad game from Stafford. And it still was a 2-point game after all that. So I do have the Rams winning this pretty comfortably, unless the exact same thing happens. If Stafford has his worst game of the year again and Bryce has his best, then I'll eat my words. But I think pretty comfortably the Rams are a far superior team and coaching staff.
Agreed. Yeah, the Rams are 10.5 point favorites, which is wild for a Carolina team that, like, we said, had beaten them earlier in the year. But you hit the nail on the head. When you go back and look at that game, it was in Carolina. It was a sloppy rainstorm for 2/3 of it. Matthew Stafford threw a pick on, I think, 2 of the first 3 drives, and 1 went for 6. And he also fumbled on the final drive, which could have been a game-winning drive. He got strip sacked when he held on to it for a little bit too long in the pocket. So Stafford played his worst game of the season. I would say it was probably worse than the Falcons game too. So you're not going to get that version of Stafford at this time of year. And Bryce Young, I think, despite the fact that, like, in the first third of the year, they went on like a 5 or 6 game winning streak, Carolina did. Bryce, at that point, when they beat the Rams, was comfortably playing his best football in that stretch. That was the stretch where they played Atlanta 2 weeks earlier, and he threw for almost 500 yards, and they won in overtime. And then a couple weeks later, they go and they beat the Rams in a big upset when they were massive underdogs in that game. I wrote down his splits across those 3 weeks, including they lost to the Niners in between there. But he still threw for 823 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 2 picks with a 77% completion percentage across those 3 games. I don't think Bryce Young has had a better stretch of football in his career other than those 3 weeks. So,
no. Like, it's not to say it couldn't happen, because it did happen. It's just, like, it's going to take everything. Like, the Panthers, off the top of my head, ran the ball 40 times last time. And that was kind of like when Rico Dowdle was still kind of, relevant. Chuba Hubbard had like 17 carries that game. I just don't see that it being that balanced. I think, especially now that they already played, I think LA knows exactly what's coming, and they're going to know how to stop it because they're an unreal coaching staff. Carolina's new to this. Like, they haven't been to the playoffs since like 2015. Like, is that like the last time they were here?
Mm-hmm.
So, whole new coaching regime, has not been to the playoffs. They've already faced this team. Like, the Rams are not going to be surprised this time. I see the prep work from McVay and Stafford just way outdoing the Panthers. I think they win by like that 10.5 line.
Yeah, that I agree with. I mean, they rushed for literally 19 yards against the Bucs in Week 18. The Panthers had 19 rushing yards. Mind you, this has been the reason why they have enough wins to even be in the postseason, was because of their run game. In the last 5 weeks, they have been atrocious running the football. They're like bottom 3 in EPA per rush in the last 5 weeks, where in the early part of the season, like, Bryce Young wasn't winning them games. He never really has. He's won a couple, but it's been Rico Dowdle, his emergence. Chuba's come along and kind of improved since the injury here and there, but it just hasn't been Bryce. And if they're not going to get anything from the run game, the Rams are going to shut it down. Like, didn't McMillan have 1 catch for 5 yards at the end of last week's game or something?
Yes.
What week was that? Was that 2 weeks ago?
I think it might have been 2 weeks ago, but it was like 4th and 17 for the game. Yeah. And he caught his first pass. It was a 5-yard pass and went out of bounds, and that was it. Like, it was, and he had a good. It was Jalen Coker too was the one that actually did anything last game.
Mm-hmm.
Against the Rams last time. So it was just a weird, uncharacteristic game from everybody. Like, kudos the Panthers, they won it, and that's the only reason why I'm kind of skeptical. Like, there's an ounce of skepticism in my brain, but from trying to be a smart person that has watched a lot of football, like, I think I have to choose the Rams pretty comfortably.
Yeah, agreed. It's in Los Angeles. It's 1:00 PST, right? Yep, they're 3 hours behind, so they're playing right in the middle of the day. It'll be nice weather on their own home field. Like, there is no external factor that I can see really throwing a wrench into this either. So I also like the Rams, and my best bet for this game was Rams minus 9.5, actually, which as of when I checked it earlier was minus 130. So 10.5, I still think they clear it. I think the Panthers in their last they've played 7 teams that have made the postseason this year, and they lost to 5 of them by at least 11 points. So this feels like it feels like a good lean into Los Angeles, especially with Devontae Adams coming back.
It kind of feels like last year's Steelers versus Ravens game, where the Steelers were beating them in the regular season, and it made everybody like really skeptical, and then the Ravens just come out and just boat race them by like 25 points. Like, it kind of feels like that's that same vibe. So I have the same thing, except my bold prediction is I think three tight ends score a touchdown in this game from either team.
3. Is Javion Sanders healthy? Well, no,
I don't know if he is. Tommy Tremble's been getting some work.
Mitchell Evans too.
Mitchell Evans is out there. I think one of those guys might get something. Then I think that 2 Rams tight ends will probably get involved, because I think J.C. Horn will be on Devontae Adams pretty heavy down there, and then I think they're going to do everything in their power to double team Puka, kind of very Bengals-esque. So when that happens to the Bengals, at least, it's always the tight ends that get involved. So I think it'll be the same thing.
I like it. Yeah, Colby Parkinson just scored last week. I think he's had 2 or 3 since Devontae's gone down. So I like it.
Yeah,
I'll be watching for that. That's one of those that I'll have in the back of my mind. All right. Well, later on in the day, we get the Packers and the Bears on Saturday Night Football, where the Packers are currently favorites by 1.5 points. It's basically a pick 'em, but it is in Chicago. This line I was reading opened up in favor of the Bears, but since has shifted to Green Bay. And to me, I'm having a hard time visualizing a situation where the Packers win this game. I feel like they have been on the downturn for weeks now. They're severely banged up. Jordan Love is, he's had concussion issues. Josh Jacobs is apparently feeling the best he's felt in the last 6 weeks with that knee injury, but that's probably just, podium speak. Jaden Reed's coming back, but he's still been out. Dontavian Wicks is dealing with a concussion. I think Zach Tom has been banged up, and he's trying to return. There was someone else. Oh, Micah Parsons is not playing anymore. So it's just a depleted team. They're lacking talent in the secondary, picking up fucking Trayvon Diggs from the worst defense in football. They didn't even want him, and now he's going to come save the day. Chicago, Ben Johnson, they're just too good of an offense, too balanced. And the Packers are just going to be beaten in too many different ways, I think, to keep up.
Yeah, and it sounds like Rome is also playing.
Yes,
which is huge because they've been making it work with Ja'Day Walker or whoever that was that does like the Juby slide. That was him. There's like they were making it work with so many different people. To have Rome back, to have Colston Loveland emerging as this like top 5 tight end in the league all of a sudden, to have Luther Burden popping off. They don't even need DJ Moore. Like, they're killing it. Their offensive line's healthy. Everything just points towards a Bears win. And the whole reason I feel confident in their coaching staff, and even though it's their first time in the playoffs with this team, and I didn't feel good about the Panthers, is that this staff has been to the playoffs just on the Lions or on other teams. But I do think that they are still an experienced group, an experienced coaching staff that knows what they're doing. On top of that, you have a quarterback that doesn't really seem scared at the moment. Like, Caleb has more haters than anybody in the world, but none of them can ever say that he's like scared and he doesn't perform in big moments. Like, that's kind of his whole thing. So I feel pretty good about the Bears winning.
Agreed. It's in Chicago too. Like, Green Bay is banged up, traveling to their rivals' home field. It's projected to snow on top of it. So the Chicago Bears have had a complete identity shift where they're one of the most lethal rushing offenses in the game right now. Like, the two-headed monster of Swift and Monangai has beaten up on teams. Like, we go back to the game against Philadelphia, which was one of their biggest of the year, and they embarrassed Vic Fangio and those edge rushers and that defensive front. Like, Zach Bond is not a bad linebacker. Like, I don't know. I don't think Jalen Phillips was there at that point. He might have been, but they have talented players. He was.
I think so.
Yeah. It was later in the season, so he had to have been. But they embarrassed those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And the Packers defensive line has a bunch of hot dog workers really up there. So I'm not sure what is going to stop Ben from having his way with the play calling as far as running it. And then here comes the misdirection. Here comes the play action. Here comes the bootleg. Like, those poor linebackers are going to be in fucking hell trying to figure out where the ball is going. And if you can't make Ben Johnson's offense one-dimensional, you are not going to beat Ben Johnson. It's really that simple. So I'm very shocked that they are not the favorite in this one. Like, their 3 biggest wins actually against the Packers, against the Eagles and 49ers this year, I would say are their 3 biggest on the schedule. They all eclipse 400 plus total yards. Like, you're not beating Ben Johnson in 400 total yards. You're just not.
No, you're not. No, I'm also shocked because Green Bay, with this current regime and quarterback and everything else, has kind of historically struggled in the playoffs. Whether it's their fault or not, they just historically are not the team to bet on usually. So if you're a betting man, you like to do math, the odds are in Chicago's favor in that way too. So I feel good about it.
I agree. Jeff Hafley is a name that's been coming up in head coaching conversations. And if he really wants a job, this will be the game. These next few weeks, I should say, if they make it that far, will be where he earns it, because he's really working with a limited number of guys talent-wise. Yeah. And if you can shut down Ben Johnson, then you can go into next week and face whoever you go up against, whatever high-powered offense you're likely to see, and you have another solid outing. That will do a lot of wonders for him, and I'm sure more. There are Packers fans that are upset with Matt LaFleur like every single week. So if it goes the opposite of that and they lose in the first round to Chicago, I think a lot of people are going to be upset with that man.
Yeah, and then he'll be the highest coveted available coach to ever exist because he's actually a really good coach. Yeah, I feel bad for Hafley because I think he's done a great job, but like now they're just lacking the guys, like you said. Like they just have a bunch of hot dog vendors out there trying to backpedal. Like I initially had a different build prediction. Like it was just I thought that Colson Loveland would be the leading receiver of the entire game. But now I think specifically, I think Luther Burden is going to torch Trayvon Diggs on a double route or double move. I think he's gonna like fake that little like out route, that little Jamar out route he does, and then just burst up field, and Trayvon will shatter to the ground, and Luther will catch a 40+ yard touchdown.
I like it. I 100% expect Trayvon Diggs to have a moment in this game, a very bad one, like a Jair Alexander-esque with Ravens moment, where Keon Coleman catches it on top of him and then stiff arms him into the ground and scores. I expect something like that to happen.
Yes, like how often does it happen where you just get a guy late in the season off of the waivers and veteran, like old, washed up, injured corner, and he shuts shit down? How often does that happen? Like he's like this might be their Kevin King.
Oh my God, man. Don't haunt
We're Scotty
them
Miller.
Like that. Don't haunt them like that.
We're Scotty Miller. And I say all this so confidently, the Packers are just going to torch the Bears now.
Yeah.
Because I said that. But again, math-wise, just the Packers' recent lack of success in the postseason and just the fire that this Bears team's playing with, Caleb's brain, I trust them.
Yeah.
And if shit goes wrong, I trust them to make it, like, find a way to scrap and make it work. Because they've also proven to do that. And the Packers, I have not seen them do that quite as much.
Yes. That's the key part too that you just reminded me of. I don't remember a game this year other than like the Giants game when they were going blow for blow with New York, where I felt like they were able to pivot away from their usual game plan and just go haymaker for haymaker with another team. Like they're this low scoring, methodical offense that takes their time. You know, the EPA police love these guys. Like that's the running joke with Jordan Love that you love to use. And I find it hilarious. And it makes me think that to some extent, if Malik Willis was playing, I almost might feel better about Green Bay's odds, which is not meant to be a shot toward Jordan Love. But I think going against a secondary like Chicago, having your strength be in the run game with a two-headed monster as opposed to just Josh Jacobs might fare better because Chicago's defensive line is equally as unemployed as Green Bay's. So if you want to give Green Bay an opportunity in your own mind, then it's going to be on the ground. And if they're able to shut down Jacobs, like they're throwing into Kyler Gordon's coming back, you're throwing in Kevin Byard, who had a ton of picks, Nashawn Wright. Like these guys have been hawks. They've generated turnovers all year long. And the whole like Bears defense is fraudulent thing, I think is a fair narrative, but it's almost Bills defense-esque where they just figure it out. Like they generate timely turnovers. They make plays when they have to, and it's enough to win them the game. And if that's working for you, then who cares about the rest of the bullshit?
Well, they've been hurt. Like all season long, they were missing an all-pro caliber corner in Jalen Johnson. They were missing Kyler Gordon for like the whole year. They've been missing some dudes. And to get someone like Jalen Johnson back, to be figuring it out the way they're figuring it out, I mean, the only time their offense really hasn't worked was this last week against the Lions. And they have struggled against the Lions all year long. Like it's not a thing. Like they're not good against them, but they've put 20 plus up on the Packers every single time. They beat the Eagles. They beat all these other good teams. I don't know. I feel good about their chances.
Agreed. Yeah, this is Bears for me. My best bet in this game is Bears plus 1.5. So
yeah,
might as well take him outright if I'm going to take him to win, of course. And that will bring us to arguably the most difficult game on the entire slate to predict, at least it was for me. 1 p.m. Bills, Jaguars. I am not going to have fun watching this game. The Bills are minus 1.5 point favorites, and I don't know how to feel about it. So please help me out.
Here's the thing with this game. I didn't even look at statistics. I didn't do anything. I just went off of a feeling, and I feel like this Jags team feels like 2021 Bengals to me. I don't know why. But I just feel like this is a team that's going to get really lucky and just have enough moments where they win. So I think the Jags win, but it wasn't even off of like anything that I think the Bills do wrong, because obviously they're led by like possibly like the best offensive player in football right now in Josh Allen. They could win at any point. But the Jags are just so balanced right now. Like if one thing doesn't work, I trust that ETN could maybe get going, even if Trev puts up a stinker. And the defense is like decent enough where like I think they can hold their own for a while. They have a good pass rush. They have good linebackers. I don't know. I think they're just a little bit more balanced in the way that they win than the Bills are. Where if one thing goes wrong and Josh Allen can't use his legs as much, I think it'll be a problem. So I picked the Jags in a very unconfident pick.
There are so many things that feel like Jacksonville to me just because they're so hot. Like, talk about vibes. Part of feeling good about a team is if you watch them recently and you're like, holy shit, they look like a good football team. They are. They pass the eye test. They pass the numbers test. Everything about Jacksonville right now is favorable. Like, the franchise quarterback is going into local bars and getting squatted by local women. That is a real statement. Like, the vibes are so up for Jacksonville right now. And maybe it's the homer in me tugging away, but there's just something that tells me that this is the exact kind of game that the Bills find a way to win. And if this was Kansas City, it would be different because there's just that stigma. But it's not. This is a Buffalo Bills team that, with Dalton Kincaid, has won like, I just read the stat. They've won like 19 of the last 24 games when Dalton Kincaid is playing. Actually, I lied. They're 23-5 when Kincaid plays, including playoffs. Without him, they're 4-5. So he's going to be playing. Compared to, you want to talk about an easy schedule. I won't say Jacksonville's had an easy schedule, but as far as caliber of quarterbacks that they've faced, they've seen Bryce Young, Jake Browning, CJ Stroud, Brock Purdy, Mahomes, Darnold, Stafford, Geno Smith, Davis Mills, Justin Herbert, Jacoby Brissett, Cam Ward, Daniel Jones, Brady Cook, Bo Nix, and Phillip Rivers. So a very mixed bag, but the upper echelon guys, it's been Herbert, it's been Mahomes, and now we're getting Josh. And last year, I remember the narrative going into the Broncos game was, oh, this Denver defense is so good. It's so fierce. They stop the run so well. It's the same thing this time. I don't think Jacksonville's allowed a 100-yard rusher. They're like second in the league in yards per attempt allowed. All of these pro rushing statistics. The Bills last year went out against Denver and put up like 200 plus rushing in that game and beat them by like fucking 35, which I did not see coming. I felt like they would win comfortably a lot more than I do in this game. But a lot of these things that seem to matter go out the window when it comes to Buffalo in these types of games. And I think it's, as much as people hate McDermott and the coaching staff, I think it's coaching. I think it's an element of Josh Allen and the dynamic ability with James Cook that they've put together. Like, this is not an average rushing offense. And Mahomes, when they played Jacksonville, had his way on the ground. I don't know if you remember that, but he was just running up and down the field. I think he finished with like 60 or so yards. He was the Chiefs' leading rusher. So I don't know if I trust Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker to really contain Josh when necessary, because their pass rush hasn't been great this year. I think they average like a little under 2 sacks a game, which is bottom third in the league, I can say confidently. So, man, it all reads Jacksonville, but when it comes to Buffalo, I just have to lean into it. It's vibes, like you said.
Well, that's playoff football, and that's why I struggled with it too. Is this Jags regime's pretty new to this? I mean, Liam Cohen played one playoff game as a coordinator, and he actually did not do well last year in Tampa. Like, their offense struggled. It was one of the only times they did last year. One of the only times their offense didn't look balanced was in the playoffs. And some coaches do that. Some coaches get really weird when it gets this time of year. And Buffalo's the opposite. They kind of just stay the exact same team. They're one of the only teams that really do that, I think. And that's why they've been really successful, except for playing one specific team who happily is not in the playoffs this season. So, I mean, outside of them and the Bengals, have you guys lost to anyone in the playoffs?
No. That's a genuine no. That is a genuine no. Deshaun Watson and the Texans in 2019.
That was rookie Josh. He actually sucked back then. So I'm not even going to count that. That's not even the same player. So yeah, it's a Bengals team in the snow like 3 years ago, and then it's just the Chiefs every single other year. So there is something to it. And they always lose on like really close moments. They don't get blown out either. They get like super terrible lucky stuff, unlucky stuff in them. But the only thing that really struck me, because I agreed with you on the schedule thing. Like they're beating up. I mean, who are they beating? They beat the Colts and the Titans and the Jets. Like the only things that made me scared were two specific games. The time they beat the Chargers 35-6 in November, and then they just beat the Broncos in like 2 weeks ago 34-20. Like they beat the crap out of them. I was like, oh my God. Like this is like they've had one close game and it was a division rival Colts who they always have a really tight game with. Like outside of that, they have not had a close game outside of the Colts since like the Cardinals, like or the Texans. Like it's been a while. So they're playing the best football. Like they are playing hot football, but there is that little voice telling me like the Bills have been in the playoffs every single year. They beat everybody that isn't the Chiefs pretty much. Like I can't count them out. Like I can't confidently say they're going to lose at all.
Yeah, I know. And it's just a really annoying narrative with this game. I've done a better job ignoring a lot of that shit that goes on that cesspool of an app. But the whole like Josh Allen has to win now because all of the other elite quarterbacks are out thing is just it's driving me as crazy as it can while not paying attention, because this really is the worst iteration of the Buffalo Bills that we have seen, which is a shame because of the circumstances. But there's just so much to this sport. Like there's no reason to explain it. Like we don't have to talk about what I mean when I say that. So if the Bills went out and lost this game, unless it was by some ridiculous like shoot themselves in the foot way, I'm not going to be that mad. Like Jacksonville is a very good football team. Mm-hmm. Trevor Lawrence is playing very good football. Liam Cohen is a great coach. They are trending. They are the highest stock to buy in football right now. So I don't know how anybody could say McDermott should be gone if they lose this game and they go one and done, or Josh Allen's fraudulent, or all of the 9 yards, because Jacksonville, out of any team in the AFC, probably could go all the way just as much as Denver or Buffalo can.
Agreed. The only thing to that, like, I don't think he has to win for like a legacy thing. Like, oh, they're all out. He has to win this year or he's a fraud. I just think it's his best chance, because clearly they've had Thorne in Kansas City that has been killing them. And it looks like next year with no Mahomes, they'll have another chance. But for right now, like this is their first time without Mahomes there. The Bengals aren't there either. Like these are all teams like the Broncos. They're the number one seed. The Bills beat the shit out of them last year. And the team isn't that much different, to be honest. So they've proven they can beat any team that isn't the Chiefs in the playoffs. I think they can definitely do it again. I'm just riding the hot hand here, the hot young new thing in Jacksonville. I'll pick them because I also knew you'd pick Buffalo. So, but it's close. It's really, really close. And this was one of like 2 or 3 games that I spent a long time picking on.
Yeah, I still, like I said, I don't feel great about it, but I'm taking my Bills. My best bet in this game was Josh Allen over 36.5 rushing yards. As I was saying earlier, I think Josh is going to have to be involved, even if James Cook does get stymied the way that everyone's working it up to be. That means Josh Allen QB power is coming to a TV near you, and Josh is going to scramble a lot on dropbacks because I'm pretty sure that he's not going to have much downfield. I don't know why that would change. So if Jacksonville struggles to get to the passer the way that they have all year long, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities, a lot of dropback where we see Josh just kind of standing there and we're like, okay, throw it, please, like get rid of it. And then all of a sudden he's like running. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. I'll take that. And we might get 5 or 6 of those in this game and a couple of QB rushes designed. And I think it's an easy bar to clear.
Yeah, I had a very similar bet. There are 3 combined QB rushing touchdowns this game. I think Josh Allen could probably get 2. I think that's how they'll score. I think he would score 2 of them. And Trevor Lawrence has been unbelievable rushing in the red zone for some reason. Kind of the same thing, just on like a less like power note, more of like a finesse style rushing style he has. But he has 9 on the year, which kind of shocked me when I figured that out. and they've all come recently. So I do think he could also find his way if ETN gets stuffed too many times. So I think there's 3 combined QB rushing touchdowns.
I like that. And I'm glad you brought that up because I had this thought when I was, researching this and I forgot to write it down. Mahomes and Lawrence as runners remind me of each other. And one of the things that concern me is that the Bills historically have had a hard time getting that motherfucker on the ground. Like the whole thing for the past few years is we have to sack Mahomes. We need a pass rusher to sack Mahomes. We go and get Von Miller, and the whole saga runs its course. Lawrence, I feel like, has that sort of slipperiness, not to the same extent, but he is a good dual threat quarterback. And I think dual threat has become a much broader term, and it applies to a lot more quarterbacks than it really ever has. And not just because, Trevor has 9 rushing touchdowns, but because, even guys like Brock Purdy is definitely in the conversation of dual threat, like clearly if you have eyes. And most quarterbacks are, but there's something about the way I see Trevor Lawrence run and wiggle out of pockets. It's Mahomes-esque. And that does really concern me. Like the motherfucker won a game against Kansas City by falling, getting up, tricking Chris Jones into thinking he was down, and then scoring to win the game. Do you remember that? That was ridiculous.
That idiot of Trevor still does exist. Like it doesn't just go away. So there is a chance. That's the whole reason why I think the Bills can win is that dummy does exist somewhere. And Liam Cohen has done a good job of hiding him in a closet, and he hasn't been here in months. But I know he's there. So the Bills can be a little confusing on defense. Like that's how they win. They're not crazy athletic. They're not crazy strong. They're just usually pretty smart. So, Cole Bishop, if you get a pick 6, I think this game's over with. It's all on you.
I hope. Please, Cole Bishop, save us. Well, following that up, we will have the 49ers and the Eagles, where the Eagles are 4.5-point favorites, which I was shocked by because there really are not many teams playing more dysfunctional football than the Eagles right now. And I thought maybe there would be some saving grace with how I feel about the operation and the coaching staff in week 18 going against the corpse of the Commanders. And usually Tanner McKee, historically speaking, has gone out and looked like a very competent, almost NFL starter level quarterback. They looked horrible with those guys in too. I get they're still playing Commander starters and what they have left of them, but seeing that with a different product, a different quarterback under center, like that really tells me that there is something really deeply disturbed in the Philadelphia operation. But then again, the Niners are the most injured team in football. So what was your take on this game? Who do you got?
I picked the Eagles because it's the same thing. Like every single time they get counted out, every single time that somebody's like, yeah, the coaching, it's something, they figure it out. And they've figured it out so long. They always figure it out in the playoffs. And the Niners have too historically, but like you said, they're injured. I think the Eagles have had a lot of disappointing performances from really good players. We haven't seen Saquon go nuts a lot. We haven't seen A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith go nuts. But I think like pound for pound, if this like gets to like a really gritty game, I trust that Vic Fangio might be able to get to Purdy. I don't know if they're really going to be able to affect Hurts much. I mean, he usually is better in the playoffs. Like I critique him all the time, but he is better in these kind of stages. I can't count him out. So I think Saquon has his best game of the entire year in this game.
It's very possible. Last week we saw the Seahawks have their way, or was it week 17? I don't know why I'm losing track of these last few weeks, but they had their way with the 49ers up front. And now they also lost Tatum Bethune. That's his name, right?
Linebacker. He
got hurt too. Like they legitimately cannot stay healthy. And that is a position that has been killing them like at linebacker. And there's rumors about Fred Warner being prepared to return by the NFC Championship, but they need help right now. They need reinforcements to drop in from a supply crate and put on a helmet. There is just something about, like I said, it almost reminds me of like I feel like I reference this every fourth podcast. But the vibe I got from the Raiders in the preseason where I'm like, this shit ain't right. There's something broken here.
Yeah.
And then it was. I just have that feeling with the Eagles. And the 49ers have been the opposite all year long. I think had the game against the Seahawks not gone as south as it did, I don't think this line would be at 4.5 points. I don't think people would feel as down on the Niners as they might right now. Like, the Eagles' pass rush has been good, but it's not what the Seahawks' defense is. I don't think the 49ers, with Trent Williams healthy, is going to struggle to run the ball nearly as bad as they did against Seattle. Like, I think a lot of the things they lean into and they rely on were just not efficient because they were hurt. They had a couple players that they need that weren't there that will be this time around. And Philadelphia just isn't Seattle, really, is the bottom line. So I am going to go with the 49ers. I'm going to take them in the upset. As long as Brock Purdy is that phenom that he turned into prior to that week 17, week 18 game, then I think he's comfortably going to be the better quarterback in this game, I will say.
Yeah, that's where my struggle came with. Is like, is this regular Purdy? Is this bad Purdy? Or is this elite Purdy? Like, there's three versions of that quarterback. With Hurts, there's two. Like, and I mean, most of his best performances come in these kind of games where it's tight, it's rough. And all the times that he struggled last year, Saquon ran for 200 yards. So I could see that being the case. I just don't know if they have the dogs to strap down A.J. Brown and Devontae when push comes to shove. And if they do, I don't know if they have the dogs to clog up those holes and stop Saquon for losses. The Eagles just have kind of found a way to win those kind of games. So I just think they win, sadly.
Sadly is right. Well,
I don't want them to.
These two teams have a history. Like, going back to when Purdy, first really made a name for himself, like, these two teams were not happy with each other, especially when McCaffrey had to play quarterback for like an entire quarter because Purdy hurt his elbow and they were out of quarterbacks. But they don't like each other. I think the 49ers are going to be going into this game with, an extra chip on their shoulder for that reason too. And, I've said a few times throughout the course of the year where this is a version of the Eagles that is reminiscent of that 2021 version where they just sucked so bad toward the end of the year. And then they went into the wild card. People were like, okay, maybe against Tampa, they'll return to form and we'll get their best football. And they got the shit beat out of them by Baker. So I just, the second I want to trust them is the second I feel like I can't. And even like you referenced Jalen Hurts playing his best football, usually in these games with these brighter lights, like he really didn't. Like the wild card last year or 2 years ago, was it? Like that was his worst game, or the divisional, I will say, because they had the bye.
Yeah.
Against the Rams. Like I know it's a different defense, a different circumstances, but that was his worst game. And the running game of Philadelphia this time around is nowhere near as lethal as it was before. Like that was when Saquon was having the best season of his career, and now he's come well back down to earth, and he's, among the rest of the normal people. So I don't know if they have that multi-dimension aspect that we're used to them having.
No, I'm just worried it finds its way now for some reason. Like I think they just always do. Every single time I doubt I'm like trying to use logic. They just figure out ways because they're a loaded roster. They're just having an uncharacteristically bad year compared to last year.
They are, and
I mean they're 12-4. They're not bad by any means. They just haven't been winning in dominant fashion.
Did you see that? This is off topic, but did you see that thread that's been going around about a conspiracy theory regarding the electromagnetic field that's next to the 49ers practice facility?
I don't think that's true.
I was reading about this and I'm like, this is really ridiculous. But then again, why are they so fucking hurt? Like, there has to be an explanation for this. This is getting ridiculous.
I think they just have a shitty staff. Because there seems like that in basketball too, that just stay at getting healthy, or baseball. Like some teams are just historically injured all the time. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think like the electromagnetic waves are damaging the collagen that goes to their
Yeah, you
strengthening their
read that?
tendons. Yeah, I read the headline. Like, it because I just don't think that like your collagen levels can be lowered so much that it damages your tendons or weakens your tendons, and then it makes them more susceptible to like wear and tear. I think it's because they overuse the shit out of everybody. They're like CMC, yeah, here's like 7,000 touches in 2023. And then 2024, he's like, yeah, I have really bad stuff with my Achilles. And they're like, well why?
Mhm.
What happened? He's like, because you just drove me into the ground. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe it's interesting. Like, I'm not a
It is
tinfoil hat guy,
interesting.
but I've been looking for an explanation for this for a while. And if this guy claims to have any sort of like validity to his name, which I'd never heard of this guy that published
Yeah.
this, and then I saw some, I'm not going to say reputable people like sharing it, but people that I've seen, and I'm like, I have no reason to think that you're a complete fucking idiot. So maybe there's like something
Yeah.
here. It's just so bizarre that, like, how many snaps has Tatum Butane played this year? And now didn't he lower body of some sort? I don't remember what it was. It's just so bizarre. Well,
I know.
I'm going with the Niners. You're going with the Eagles. My
Yes.
best bet in this game is 49ers plus 4.5 again, just because of the underdog. So
yeah, I mean, I had the Saquon having his best game of the entire season. I don't think that he is at all affected by electromagnetic fields. I think that he will be just fine. They have like cheesesteaks and assault. They don't have poop in the streets and electromagnetic fields.
Well,
so Eagles win on environmental factors alone.
Yes, the electromagnetic field will strike again.
Yes,
unfortunately for Kyle Shanahan.
Yep.
Well, we get to the Chargers and Patriots, where the Patriots are 3.5-point favorites on their own home field. This is another very tough matchup to decipher because just like the MVP conversation, the easy schedule argument applies here too. This is comfortably the most difficult defense I think they have faced all season. Like, I think statistically that could be supported. I think if you just look at the schedule, you could point it out. Like, there is a very, very, very good organized group that Jesse Minter has put together. Like, this is a head coaching candidate. This is currently, by a lot of people I respect, the favorite to be the Ravens head coach next year.
Mm-hmm.
So Drake May isn't just going to be able to drop back and, play ethical football the way that everybody has seen him play over the past few weeks. And for that reason, I'm going to be that guy. I'm a Bills fan. Fuck the fucking Patriots. This is the hardest damn team that they have seen all year long. And I think this is going to be when they get exposed. Not to the extent that the Vikings did against the Giants a few years ago. It won't be quite that embarrassing. I don't think they're as fraudulent. But I think people are going to be really surprised when this game goes in Los Angeles' favor. And it's going to be like, well, we've kind of been saying it all year long, but no one listened.
I agree. I thought I was going to be kind of feeling like a hater in this game because I've been kind of anti-Patriots the entire year on accident. Like, I didn't even want to be. They're just way better than I thought they would be. But same thing. The defense is unreal that LA has. And I know their offensive line is injured. I don't expect the Chargers to go out there and light up the Patriots defense. I've just said it too many times. Like, I think that the Patriots have also had a lot of guys step up. I think Diggs has had a great year. Hunter Henry, Ramondre is doing great things. Henderson's doing great things. I don't see those guys having the kind of success that they usually do. Like, those guys by themselves, like, there's been games where May looks pretty pedestrian and they kind of dominate weirdly. Their offensive line holds up against some bad defenses, and their defense has been pretty solid. So I just don't think this is the kind of game where the supporting cast can defeat the Chargers supporting cast. I think this is going to be a game where Drake May has to have an MVP game or they lose. And it's very possible because he's playing like arguably MVP football right now. It's just he's going to have to do it again if they want to win.
Yeah, we've seen Justin Herbert have caliber performances necessary to win games against much more difficult teams. much more difficult defenses. And the Patriots rank like 31st, I think I saw, in pressure rate without a blitz. And even though the Chargers' offensive line is bad, if Justin Herbert gets a fucking second to breathe in the pocket, he is throwing the most devious dot he can find on the field, and he will make you pay. Like that game against the Cowboys, what was it, 6 or so weeks ago, where he finally had some time to drop back, and he looked unbelievable in that game. So I don't think there's enough disruption from a Patriots standpoint to throw Justin Herbert into too much of a swirl, especially when you see him play against Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, and the Texans defense, and he was doing everything in his God-given power to win that game, and it would have been enough if he was facing any other defense. So I feel like people aren't – this will be the game that I think people finally give in to the Justin Herbert take, like the debate.
Yes. If he plays bad, I'm done with him.
Yes.
It is kind of getting to like an annoying sense where people are like kind of Geno Smithing him in a way where they're like just watching purely the tape and the difficulty of the throws he can make, and they're like, yeah, this guy's MVP. Like, this guy is the best quarterback in the league. I'm like, I'm not that far, but if they win this game and the defense is only pedestrian and they win because of him, sure, I'm in. But until then, until he doesn't have another 4 interception stinker against the Texans or blows that 30-point lead, I'm still going to be pretty skeptical. But I do believe that their defense is just good enough to win that game.
Yeah, agreed. And I know that the Patriots do get Milton Williams back. I think that will definitely be a big factor because the interior offensive line for the Chargers is not great. Nobody on that offensive line is great, but I know Chargers fans, if there are any of you watching this, you probably don't like Bradley Bozeman. We've joked about that before. And that's where Milton Williams is going to be living. So we will see how much of an impact he has, because without him, they've been not very good when it comes to getting after the quarterback. And, you know, Justin Herbert has been as good as he gets when he's been given time. I'm interested to see who, as far as pass catchers go for the Chargers, really step up, because early in the season, it was Keenan Allen. Ladd McConkey's been like in and out as far as his impact goes. Rondé Gadsden has flashed. They're going to need one of those guys, Quentin Johnson, obviously, too. They're going to need one of those guys to really pop. And my bold prediction for this game isn't specific enough, but it's one of the Chargers receivers has over 100 yards in this game.
Yeah. I mean, Ladd, even last year in a game they struggled, had his best game of the year in the playoffs last year, even though they lost. Like, Ladd can do it. Like, Ladd's not the kind of guy where you're like, well, Marcus Jones is a good nickel defender, he might get shut down. Like, Ladd's better than that. Okay, like Ladd's better than just the other corner is good, he's in trouble. The corner might be in trouble because Ladd is good. Like, that's the kind of player he is. And I think they understand that how important it will be to get him the ball this game. I'm really praying they don't try the freaking QJ on Christian Gonzalez thing, because they have such utter faith in him. He has lost them games because of just their incredible faith in him. They're like, 3rd and long. Yep, this is where we're going. And then he just T-Rexes it and it falls out of bounds. Like, he can make plays, but when he's open, do not try and force that shit to him, please. Yeah. If he gets open because he's fast as shit and he's athletic, if he gets open downfield, let it loose. Like, I still trust he can do that. Be a zone beater, whatever. But one-on-one man coverage, 3rd and 7, please do not throw off your back foot across the field to QJ again and get picked off. Like, I can't watch that. If I see that happen, if I see 3 targets to him to open up the game, I'm changing my pick. But I do believe. But my prediction was actually kind of the same thing. No single player rushes for more than 65 yards. I think this is definitely going to be a committee game. I think it's going to be a very, very, very pass heavy down the stretch. I think both teams are going to struggle to run. And if the Patriots find success, the Chargers find success, I think it'll be in committee fashion. I don't see Ramondre or Henderson or Hampton or anybody really having their way with this game.
No, I agree with that. And, you know, that, like you said, kind of goes hand in hand with my take, because it just doesn't feel like a game where either defensive front is going to give. as far as, run stopping goes. So it's going to be, which makes me think that as far as quarterback play goes, this might be the most entertaining game of the entire weekend. Like the ceiling, like the opportunity here is very high for seeing some insanely good QB play. So I'm excited for that. I'm glad I'm not a fan of either of these teams.
Same. And I would argue these are like the two best highlight throwers in the league right now. Like they might not be the two best, but like when we're talking like the difficulty of some of their deep balls and like the things they're able to do, I think these two will probably have, outside of Caleb Williams, will probably have the best mixtape after this season.
That's a good way to put it. I don't know what the word is, but highlight throwers is good because they can lace a football down the field into windows that, like, they're better than Josh Allen at it. They're better than Patrick Mahomes at it. They're better than, list any top quarterback you want. These two guys are your best two deep ball throwers in football. People are going to be like, oh, Jalen Hurts. Okay. He just hucks up fucking deep balls to A.J. Brown. That's not hard. These guys are fitting footballs into minuscule windows on ropes to guys that are not named A.J. Brown. So, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Highlight throwers. We need a more defined phrase, though. Something that's, like, compact.
It would have to be basketball related. But, yeah, like a pure hooper. I there is something along those lines. Sharpshooters, if you will. But
sharpshooters, okay.
They are those. Like they are legit snipers as quarterbacks. They're not the most, like, I don't even know how to describe it. They hold onto the ball too long. They do all the wrong stuff sometimes, but the right stuff they does looks the best in the league.
Yes. Well, that will bring us to what will probably be the worst quarterbacking showcase of the weekend. CJ Stroud and his dumbass going against Aaron Rodgers and his old ass. CJ Stroud and friends are 3-point favorites, and the Steelers are coming off of quite possibly the biggest win in franchise history. Do we think the Steelers have a chance in this game?
No. I know some people do. Like, they're trying to, like, I know, like, Marcus Mosher or whatever his name is was like, well, the checkdowns are the great way to defeat this. Have we watched Houston play defense? Do you know what happens when you throw a check down against them? They get hit so hard their cleats fly off. Like, they are legit. This is like the hardest hitting football team I've seen since like the Legion of Boom. Like, there's no way that, like, you need to line up 3 medical tents on the sideline because there's a couple guys with concussions every single game, including the Texans' own players. They hit that hard. So I think, like, if you're going to be doing this whole fun, cute little check it down to Gainwell, haha, see what he can do against, like, Jalen Petre and, like, Azeez Al-Shaair, like, he will kill you. He will. I bet he has a knife in his sock at all times. He's just going to start shanking Gainwell in the pile. There's no shot.
I think Azeez and Petrie play with metal in their shoulder pads.
Yes.
Like, legit, like, hard brass knuckle type material that just, like, blows, like, guys backward.
It's like those boxers that used to, like, wrap like brick underneath of their wrist wrap and then put the glove on. It's like they're the same way. Like, I bet they just got, like, rocks under their shoulder pads. And then, like, the other way that you win, the only other way that they win was, vertical passing to Derrick Henry, or not Derrick Henry, DK Metcalf. Maybe he can make something happen. I was thinking as big beasts, but like that's the only way they were making stuff happen. And then there's like, oh yeah, Derek Stingley, go ahead and beat him 1-on-1 downfield, try and catch it over Derek Stingley. Like, that's not happening. Yeah. I don't know. Like, every single way that I think of like in my head, how Pittsburgh finds a way to put together multiple drives in this game, it's just stuffed by what Houston does better. And the only way they win is if Houston's offense just sucks, which is possible. It does suck sometimes, but I think Pitt's offense will just suck a little more.
Yeah, that's the only avenue that I could see this going south for Houston is if TJ Watt, Nick Herbig, and, Alex Highsmith, the whole Cam Hayward, even he played like the greatest game of his career last week. So if those guys play to that level, maybe. But this is going to sound almost insane to some extent, but I think they probably cared to win last week's game more than they might subconsciously realize for this week. Like you want to beat your division rival to make the playoffs, to shut everybody up about your favorite head coach being fired. Like the stakes in that game somehow were higher than they are in this game. And the other avenue to Pittsburgh winning football games is somehow they just catch every break ever because Mike Tomlin just mutters some language that only he knows, and suddenly things go their way. But that doesn't work in the playoffs, and it hasn't worked in the playoffs for 10 years. Like the Black Magic, the Black Magic Bank is closed after week 18. So I just don't think they're going to get that lucky back-to-back weeks. They're going to have to force CJ Stroud into like 3 or 4 turnovers. They're going to have to win the turnover battle by at least 2, which I just don't think is going to happen in this game. I think Stroud, talk about a quarterback where his best play has come in the postseason. I think he fits that description for sure. Like the only thing keeping his reputation alive right now, in my book, was his play against the Browns a few years ago. It was that game, right, where they went out there and they beat up on that defense. And then it was last year against Kansas City, where he was the only reason they had a fucking blinking light of a life source.
They're better. Their defense is much better.
Yes, on top of it too.
Yeah, so. I see that, and like I even see a vision in my head. Like I think Pittsburgh keeps it closer than people are giving them credit for. I think their defense actually does pretty good this game. But I just see it now. Like there's 45 seconds. Like we're watching the broadcast view. Stroud's back to pass on 3rd and 7. Deep pass. Nico Collins is by himself because Jalen Ramsey is laying face down on the ground, covered in his own piss. And Nico Collins catches a deep post for 45-yard touchdown. They win the game. That's what I see. Like I just don't see them keeping up with Nico. I don't see them keeping up with those pass rushers. Like they've played better. The Pittsburgh tackles have, but Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter both have arguments to be first-team All-Pro edge rushers, and you have the Legion of Boom behind them. Whatever like a cool like space version would be, for Houston, that would be kind of cool. This defense is good enough to warrant a nickname. Maybe
they're like, no, that's corny. I'm gonna keep that to myself. I was gonna say like the cadets of Houston or something, but that doesn't go at all. I couldn't think of a word that goes with cadet.
The handsome hot spacemen.
If Nick Caley was still here, wait, he is the offensive coordinator still, isn't he? Yeah. So, but this is the defense we're talking about, so it doesn't help. I was going to say the Caley Cadets.
It'd have to be D'Amico.
D'Amico's dogs. That's so lame. That's lame. That's so bad. Like the Legion of Boom is so cool. The steel curtain is so cool.
But I think that my favorite was the Legion of Whom. That was my favorite. The Legion of Whom.
That was after, right? Like
yes,
I don't remember that.
It was this year. It was the Lions who had like a bunch of guys that we've actually never heard of in our lives. Do you remember that? It was like Nick Whiteside was one of them. Yeah, Nick White. It was a bunch of Lions guys you've never heard of in your life, but they were playing lights out, so they were called the Legion of Whom.
I did not see that one. I missed that memo. That's awesome. Well, please let us know what the Houston Texans defensive nickname should be in the comments. But I knew where you were going with that last rant when you started saying it. It's like the Texans always get their government mandated Nico Collins 50+ yard touchdown to start a game or to end a game, just at some point. The Steelers are the number 1 team at blowing coverage. It doesn't matter what time of game it is. It doesn't matter who's back there. They will fucking blow coverage. And last week, that was a perfect example. I can't remember who they were facing, but there was some controversy around their defensive play calling because their opponent just kept ripping seam passes and they weren't adjusting. And then there was like cover 3 controversy in Pittsburgh. But long story short, they were just giving up big plays on 3rd down over and over. And Pittsburgh's media is like, you got to do something different here on defense. And then you can remember the Cincinnati game where Jamar Chase is just like eating them alive with Joe Flacco. It's like, what are you guys fucking doing? They might not move the ball consistently, but the Texans will find a big play in this game. I like that.
They will. I've been trying to think of a nickname this entire time. What if it's just so simple? What if they're just like the black hole? The void.
I'm with that. I like
the
that.
Void.
The void.
Like they're just
black hole.
That's it. That's simple.
Yes, I like
Hell
that.
Yeah. We got it.
We need. So if we're gonna go, well, which one? The void or the black hole?
I don't know. That's the problem.
We could go with. I think I like the black hole.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, if you throw something in it, it's gone.
Yes.
It's lost forever. It swallows your offense, and you never see it ever again.
Yes.
And I say this, and they're about to have like 500 yards put on them by Pittsburgh, like Pat Fryermuth career game. My bold prediction though was I think the Steelers get less than 250 total yards of offense.
Yeah,
which is kind of insane, but like I don't see them moving.
Yeah. How do they? Like Fryermuth is not going to see the light of day with these linebackers or any of these safeties. DK is going to get Kamari Lassiter or Derek Stingley every play. And yeah, I mean, they've lived through Kenny Gainwell somehow. The most unpredictable storyline of 2025 was Kenny Gainwell being the best fucking receiver on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, I mean, they didn't have any talent going to the year, and we knew that. But the fact that he has turned into what he's turned into, not a single smart football person, content creator or analyst or anything could have seen this coming. And that most certainly won't work in this game.
Except one guy named Kenneth Gainwell in our Discord. He's the only one.
No, he changed his name after
the
Kenny Gainwell stuff started.
He did. But yeah, I mean, even then, like it's all those checkdowns, and then here just comes Jalen Petre with his fucking hair on fire. I don't know. I think he's gonna damn near like spy that guy out the backfield. I just don't see it.
You really do have to spy Kenny Gainwell.
Yes, like he's just a check down. Like every single time that like they didn't have anything in that Ravens game, it was just Kenneth Gainwell.
That was the mind-numbing part about it. Is like I was trying to put together my thoughts about how I felt about the Ravens in that game and Zach Orr's play calling, and I'm like, when you're facing a team like Pittsburgh that has an immobile 41-year-old quarterback, an offensive line that struggles to protect him, typically speaking, and you have receivers that are not good, to be as nice as possible, why are you not just playing man coverage and just sending fucking 6 people at the quarterback? I don't understand why that wasn't the game plan. They did it last time they played Pittsburgh, and DK had his way down the field, but he wasn't playing. And they just played zone when it was 3rd and 7 plus. Like, I think they had 11 plays, I found out, where it was 3rd and 6 plus. The fucking Ravens played zone on like 7 of them. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you not just fucking zero blitzing this old ass man? And then, yeah, Kenny Gainwell, here he is. Check down open, out route under the 3rd, open. Like, what are we doing here? It's just, I can't believe Zach Orr is still employed of all humans.
I know.
Like, fuck, man.
That's got to go soon. Like, there's no way they bring in a new head coach, and he's like, yeah, keep this guy around.
Yeah, right. I know, especially if it's a defensive mind, like he will get kicked out so damn fast. I felt like there was some other news that wasn't John Harbaugh getting fired.
Todd Bowles stays.
Was that confirmed? I saw people kicking that around.
I think it was. I mean, I literally typed in the word NFL news, and it's really just Harbaugh. Like that was, I mean, that's a huge one. I mean, a head coach of 18 years is fired, which is insane. And there's going to be a really fun coaching carousel conversation that's going to be coming from us here soon. But yeah, man, Todd Bowles stays, Zach Taylor stays, Gannon is gone, Stefanski's gone. It's already kind of looking to be a wild one, and the year is not over. There are still guys that will probably get fired.
That should get fired.
Yes.
So yeah, it does look like people are saying he is returning. Yeah, Todd Bowles will be
Yes.
returning as the head coach. Their like number one insider must have leaked it, I think.
Yeah, like Tampa Bay Times says he is back. Todd Bowles himself says he's back, apparently.
Todd Bowles, in the nicest way possible, is like a lot bigger as a human than I ever thought. Like I remember in like week 4, them panning out on Todd Bowles, and I thought he was built, at least not in that way. He was just he's got a big belly. It's kind of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, he's like 6'2", like he's a big fella.
It's like he ate a lot this offseason. He, came off of a good year, I guess, and had a lot of food.
Yeah, this year
I want you to guess. This is my last comment. How old is Matt LaFleur? Do you know?
If I had to guess, 45.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
He's 46. I can't believe you got that close.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I guess you.
How old do you think he was?
Well, I probably would have said early 40s, late 30s, early 40s. But I think if you asked people that aren't quite as in tune with football, they would probably say like 35. Like,
nah, he looks like a sexy ass 45-year-old man. It's a little different than like he doesn't look like a young man. Like he looks like a hot dad. Is I guess the way I'd put it.
I feel like because speaking of Marcus Mosher, he tweeted out that Matt LaFleur is the oldest coach in the playoffs at 46. I'm like, there's no fucking way, but he's not. Mike Tomlin's in the playoffs.
Yeah. I was like, there's no way that's even true outside of that, is it?
I think it is. Other than that, I think it is true, which is insane.
Vrabel's not that old? Harbaugh? I don't think this is true.
Oh, shit. Wait. Why was he rage baiting? Hold on. How old is Mike Vrabel? Is he
probably
older than Matt LaFleur?
Has to be.
He is. He's 4 years. He's 50?
Yeah.
Wow.
McDermott's older than that.
How old is McDermott? Oh, he's got to be older than
probably
46.
50.
Yeah, he's around Tomlin's age, isn't he?
He is the exact same age, I'm pretty sure.
Why did he tweet that out?
No.
You know what? He's getting unfollowed for that.
Yeah, yes, you have. I think he's not even like, I don't know. Heck, how old's Ben Johnson? He's probably around that age.
No.
He's 39, so he's getting close.
Okay,
like
wait.
McVay's a little younger. Canales is probably a little younger. That's
Where is that tweet? Now I'm gonna sound like
Dave Canales is like almost the exact same age.
So is he the youngest out there? So is he just like being an ass?
Yeah, I mean Harbaugh is literally in this playoff.
I forgot about him.
I don't think he's like Nick Sirianni's probably older, isn't he? He's 44. Maybe he's the youngest in the NFC.
Oh man, where's that tweet? Now I feel like I'm going insane.
Or the oldest in the it might be the oldest in the NFC. I think that's true. Right, almost every coach in the AFC is older though.
Okay, well maybe that was what he said, and I just didn't catch it. All right, well, enough of the yap. Yeah, he's got like 7 tweets about head coach ages, and not a single one is the one Oh, here it is. Matt LaFleur is the oldest coach in the NFC playoffs. Okay, so
there it goes. Okay, that makes sense. Still crazy though.
Yes, that's very crazy. 46. Wow. Because he's going on a rant about how John Harbaugh would be a really bad hire. That's like his big point that he's making.
I agree.
We'll save that for a future episode. Rashee Rice will be in jail by the time 2026 NFL season starts. So
put that bitch in the clink.
Make sure you sell your Rashee Rice stock. That's our fantasy. If you have friends that do not pay attention, be sure you trade Rashee Rice to them right now.
Yes.
So, yes. But that is episode 85, previewing the wild card. If you guys enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that fun stuff down in the description. Our Discord is down in the description. You can talk more football with us there. I got attacked for my all-pro linebacker group earlier, so if you want to join the party there, that's where you can do it. We will see you in episode 86.